Yo, what's up, guys? We're going to find some early bets for Monday. Yeah, I mean, crazy games today. I'm at a loss for words. This is not the Super Bowl I wanted to see, but we got 49ers versus Chiefs. You can see the 49ers, they open as slight favorites, only small favorites. It looks like FanDuel has pretty good value, minus 112. That's the best odds you can bet on the 49ers if you're already looking to bet the Super Bowl. But regardless, let's look at some NBA bets for tomorrow. I mean, crazy games today. But anyways, I don't understand how you blow that lead, but whatever. Let's just go ahead. Let's kind of look at PrizePicks to start. Oh my God. And you can see there's already some fucking line discrepancies on PrizePicks. I mean, this is crazy. They already have lines up. This is crazy. They already have lines up for the Super Bowl. I mean, that's crazy. That's crazy. So you can see Brock Purdy. I mean, we may have some early bets that we can already lock in for the Super Bowl. I mean, it's 2 days or it's 2 weeks away. I apologize, but hey, we might as well already start looking at touchdown, at, player props for the Super Bowl. Why not? So you can see there's some early line discrepancies. Oftentimes the best bets are early in the week, when sportsbooks first release odds. So if you take a look at Brock Purdy, his line opens at 247.5 passing yards on FanDuel. Also, Underdog Fantasy, we've been looking good. We hit 3 out of our past 3 plays. 2 of these were from the live stream. This was a promo play, but we did cash. Lamar Jackson, no touchdown. That worked out. And then we had some esports plays with Brooke Lopez. So we had a pretty good day on Underdog Fantasy on the live stream. But long story short, like all this thing does, so Brock Purdy, his line opens at 253.5 passing yards on Underdog. PrizePicks opens him at 263.5. So we have this big discrepancy. FanDuel's at 247.5. So there's value on PrizePicks on the under. I mean, what you could even do is you could middle bet this. Bet is over 247.5, under 263.5. It's crazy. All books set their own lines. The market's super fragmented. So you could bet the over 247.5 on FanDuel, hit the under 263.5 in a PrizePick slip. Then if Brock Purdy has 248 to 263 passing yards, you're going to win both bets. But given that Underdog and FanDuel, the first 2 books to post, lines, they both have his line lower, than PrizePicks. That seems like a good play to go with. And the added benefit is we can pair McCaffrey with this. So we can go ahead and we can already pair McCaffrey under 38.5 rushing yards. And these 2 plays are positively correlated, which is a benefit, right? If Purdy goes under in passing yards, McCaffrey is more likely to go under in receiving yards. You can see Underdog and FanDuel both open McCaffrey at 31.5 receiving yards. So even if you don't use FanDuel, this is still a data point. Seeing where all these sports books, FanDuel, this is a $10 billion company, really sophisticated model. They're setting McCaffrey's line lower at 31.5. That is telling us PrizePicks has McCaffrey's line too high at 38.5. So we might as well already lock this in. And then we can kind of go on to some basketball picks for tomorrow. So we already have some Super Bowl plays, but hey, we might as well look at basketball for tomorrow. So you can see Porzingis under 1.5 turnovers. A lot of people like to look at these last 5 grabs on PrizePicks, but again, everything is baked into the market. Everything is baked into the odds that sportsbooks are putting out. So if you look at Porzingis, right, why is this a good play on PrizePicks? Is again, you got to remember, like PrizePicks, they give us the same payout. That's how this platform works. You take Porzingis's over or under. You take him over 1.5 turnovers or under. You're getting the same payout regardless. They always give you a 5x payout. But if you look at the sports books, right? So if we just go to the Celtics game for tomorrow, if you look at the sports books, all the books have Porzingis heavily favored, right, to go under. He's a minus 155 favorite to go under 1.5 turnovers. So that's why this is a good play on PrizePicks. All the books have his under heavily favored, minus 155 favorite on Fliff, minus 140 on DraftKings, minus 145 on MGM. So his under's heavily favored. That's, the play we want to be on. And you can see they already bumped Purdy down. They already bumped Purdy down 8 yards. So we already missed our good Super Bowl bet. PrizePicks was screwing up when they first released NFL lines. Hopefully some of you were able to get it down, but it looks like they already bumped it anyways. So what we can do is we can just play McCaffrey, which isn't ideal. Like, it would have been nice to pair Purdy in the same slip, but hey, that's not going to happen. So what we can go to next, there are some esports line discrepancies. I already gave out Cat over 23.5. I gave this play out, CS2 play, and you can see PrizePicks already bumped his line to 24.5, right? So they already bumped his line higher. I gave out the over 23.5 on Twitter. The over 24.5 looks good. Every other sports book, right? Every other data point, all these books, sophisticated models, Underdog Fantasy, billion-dollar company. They've invested millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, most likely, in their ability to set lines. They're taking bets, moving lines around based on where action's coming in. They have Cat's line at 26.5. So it seems like, okay, PrizePicks has his line too low at 24.5, given Underdog has his line at 26.5, Hot Streak 28.5, Jock Market 29.5, but I'm already on him over 23.5. So, probably doesn't make sense to include him again at 24.5, given it's a worse line. But you can see there's some other plays. And the more data points, the better, right? So as a simple example, if we look at this player, Torrey, let's just kind of pull up the lines and let's take a look. So Torrey's line on PrizePicks, 25.5. Hot Streak, 29.5. Underdog Fantasy, 27.5. Jock Market, 28. Torrey's line is too low. It's too low on PrizePicks at 25.5, right? Every other sports book has his line significantly higher. It's crazy, right? Like, you will never see this in the NBA. 4-point discrepancy in where they have a player's line set. It's absolutely crazy. 29.5, 27.5, 28. Like, these sports books, sophisticated models, they're taking bets, moving lines around based on where action's coming in. And, the example I give is it's kind of like buying a stock, right? If Facebook stock is trading at $3.94, that's the market price based on all investors, or there are millions of people, investors, traders, who wake up every single day and think, is Facebook overvalued, undervalued? Should we buy or should we sell? $3.94.14, that's the fair price where supply and demand meet, right? If some really smart hedge fund wants to buy Facebook, they can buy Facebook at $3.94.14. That's the price it's trading at in the market. So long story short, markets are pretty accurate, right? So if you take a look here for Torrey, we're getting his over at 25.5 when the other books have his line around 28, 29. So we're getting 3 points of value relative to the market. So that's a great play, right? We want to take the over. And obviously, I'm not saying this bet's a guaranteed win. No bullshit like that. It's just a play with an edge. And you can see there's a lot of line discrepancies in this game in general. So, wow, early value. We already have Patrick Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So lines are already coming out. We might as well lock them in. Patrick Mahomes over 1.5 rushing touchdowns. So if you go to FanDuel, you can see they've already opened lines for passing touchdowns, and Mahomes is a pretty big favorite, minus 138 favorite to go over. His over is more likely than his under, which is why this is a good play to include in a PrizePicks entry. But anyways, kind of random slip we're building, but hey, we got esports plays for, starting in 3 a.m. So starting in, I guess like whatever, starting tonight. Then we have a basketball play for tomorrow. And we also have some early bets for the Super Bowl. So most of these plays, like comp, this is a play I'd personally skip over. You can see there's this discrepancy between PrizePicks. So if we go to PrizePicks, they have his line at 3.5. Underdog Fantasy has his line at 3. So we see this discrepancy. And again, why esports is such a great sport to bet on is there's just so many games, right? We don't have football till the Super Bowl. There's like 8 NBA games tomorrow. There's like 50 esports games. It's crazy. There's literally limitless esports lines available for tomorrow. All these books are trying to set their own odds, and they can't do it perfectly, right? Which is why there's inefficiencies in the market. Every book wants to set their own lines, and sometimes they screw up. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So maybe we replace this with Vilga. So let's go here. Let's get rid of this. This play actually looks a little bit better, a little higher profit margin. Is Vilga over 23? So let's add in this, right? We have Mahomes. So we already have 4 good picks for tomorrow. So if you look at Vilga, 23 on PrizePicks. I mean, this is crazy. 30 on another sportsbook, Jock Market. You could middle bet this, bet the over 23, under 30. It's like buying a stock at 23, selling it at 30, bet the over 23, under 30. You have this huge gap where Vilga ends with 24 to 29 kills. You'll win both bets. But again, to middle bet, you're going to need to use multiple sports books. But here's a fucking crazy play for tomorrow. Emmanuel Sharp over 2.5 rebounds. So let's go here. And they already bumped him up to 3.5. So we missed it. His line was at 2.5. They bumped him up to 3.5, where other sports books have him. So unfortunately, we missed that play. You can see it kind of disappears here. But what we can do is we can ideally try to find one more play to go with to kind of round out our 5-pick flex play. So what do we want to go with? So all these plays are in the same game, so those plays don't really make sense to pair. But what we can do is we can go with Zovi over 7.5. Other sports books have his line at 8, 8.5. So this seems like a good play to go with. And this plays for tonight, League of Legends. So here we go. We have a nice little, so they bumped that line, so we don't want to take that. Here we have our 5-pick flex play. And we can go ahead, we can lock it in. You'll see on PrizePicks, you know, if you start making money, they'll limit your bet size. They're limiting me to a max of $20. So we'll lock this in for the max I can, which is just $20. And then we can kind of move on. Early value, right? And again, you have a lot of options you can go with for esports plays in this game. You can't pair on PrizePicks. You can't put esports players in the same game together. So you can pick like Vilga, Tori, Cat. I mean, all of these overs in this game, PrizePicks is just way too low relative to the rest of the market. So you have different options to go with. Also, Laurie over 32.5 points plus rebounds. That play seems solid as well. This play actually seems a little better. So what we could do is we could just be like, okay, like, you know, we already included this play on Zovi, but maybe what we'll do is we'll just go to the NBA and we'll take Laurie over 32.5 points plus rebounds. And again, like, it's not sexy following the data, but, you know, so many people like to make up all sorts of reasons to place a bet, but everything is baked into the market. Right? Unless you think you're smarter than $10 billion sports books, Caesar Sportsbook, right? Multi-billion-dollar company. They have better models than you. You're not going to create a better model than a sports book with $10 billion to invest into, you know, their ability to set lines. They're also taking bets, moving around lines based on where action's coming in. Like all these sports books, they're not stupid. Like Caesar Sportsbook, for example, like if all of their profitable customers or sharp customers start betting on Laurie to go over, they'll move his line higher to 34.5, 35.5, or they will increase juice on the over. And that's why, like, I follow a very data-driven approach. I just look for value in the market. PrizePicks has his line at 32.5. All these other books have his line at 33.5. You know, pretty clear value getting his over. It's like buying a stock at 32.50 that's trading in the market at 33.50. So anyways, we got our first, you know, couple plays down on PrizePicks. So, you know, they're literally the same slip. I just replaced this League of Legends play with an NBA play. But anyways, what we can do is we can now go on to Underdog Fantasy. I say this all the time, but the more books you use, the better. You know, never know which book is going to have value on a given day. So here's a lot of line discrepancies between Underdog and Hot Streak, but like there's no other data points. It's just Underdog and Hot Streak have these League of Legends lines posted for tomorrow. No PrizePicks, no FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars. So we don't really know, like, okay, which book is screwing up? Which is the book with value? Which book is making a mistake? So anyways, we'll go back to PrizePicks. So you have a lot of options for the CS2, but they're all in the same game. And on PrizePicks, you can't pair League of Legends plays from the same game. So you can see Mahomes, he's already moved up to a minus 144 favorite to throw over 1.5 passing touchdowns. So he's already moved towards his over. But anyways, what we can do is we can next move on to ParlayPlay. So all these books, I say it all the time, but all these books have lucrative sign-up promos. Like on ParlayPlay, you put in $100, they give you $100 for free. $100 deposit match. I included my refer a friend code below. So here again, we have all these discrepancies. So what you could do, as a simple example, is like you could include in a ParlayPlay slip chirp over 8.5 kills, and then you could go over to Underdog Fantasy and take him under 10.5. I mean, that's a huge discrepancy, right? Like imagine seeing an NBA player, LeBron, his rebound line is 8.5 on one book, 10.5 on another book. So you could middle bet it, and take the over 8.5 and then the under 10.5 on a different book. It's kind of like buying a stock at 8.50, selling it at 10.50. You're taking advantage of the inefficiency in the market, right? And then if Chirp has 9 or 10 kills, you'll win your under 10.5, and you'll also win your over 8.5. But anyways, again, there's only one data point for all of these, so maybe we'll skip it over. We can check out Dabble as well, although ParlayPlay, it does look like they have some pretty good value, so we might as well take a look. Man, 49ers. I can't believe they won that game. So again, all these esports plays, you only got 2 data points. There's Underdog, there's ParlayPlay. We have this discrepancy between where these 2 books are posting lines. But if I'm going to bet this, I'm going to middle bet it. Over 8.5, under 10.5. Again, because you don't know when there's only 2 data points, you don't know like, okay, which book is screwing up. I can't believe that game. But anyways, we might as well look at, ParlayPlay. They have a $100 deposit match. Again, you put in $100, you get 100 for free. I included my refer a friend code in the description on YouTube. But what we can do is we can just lock in some early value NBA plays. So the first play we have is McDaniel's PRAs, all right? So let's take a look here. And again, like ParlayPlay, I always say this, but as a sports bettor, you're kind of like an investor. You're thinking about the hundreds of thousands of possible stocks, bonds, all the different investments you can make, and trying to zone in on the few rare plays with an edge, right? Which is exactly what we're doing on PrizePicks. PrizePicks has thousands of lines up, right? They have NFL lines, they have NBA lines, all these different markets. We're saying, okay, most of these bets suck. They're not good enough to beat the VIG, the juice, the hold that sportsbooks charge. So we're trying to zone in on where are those few spots where books are actually screwing up. All these books set their own lines. The market's super fragmented. Where are the few rare spots where sportsbooks are screwing up and we can actually get an edge, an advantage? So if you look right here at Jaden McDaniels, ParlayPlay has his line at 16.5. All these other books, right? All these other fantasy sites, Underdog, Dabble, all the sports books, Caesars, BetMGM, they all have his line at 15.5. So we want to take his under, right? It's very rational sports betting. You're looking for a bunch of plays with an edge. You're literally like a hedge fund. You're looking for a bunch of plays with an edge. You bet them together. All your plays have an edge and mathematical advantage. You're not going to win every bet, but if you're finding a bunch of plays with an edge, it's like flipping a coin that's 53% to show up on heads. It's not going to show up heads every time. If it's 53% to show up on heads, still 47% of the time they'll show up on tails. But, all your plays have an edge. So anyways, the next play we have is Jamal Murray over 35.5 PRAs. So a lot of discrepancies early on ParlayPlay. which we can take advantage of. So you can see here, they have his line at 35.5. PrizePicks has his line at 36.5. That's a discrepancy. That's exactly what we want to see. And again, most lines aren't discrepancies. If you look at James Harden, his rebound line is 4.5 on PrizePicks. PrizePicks has his line at 4.5 rebounds. Also, maybe a better example is assists. So if we go here to Harden assists, do they have an assist lineup for James Harden? And they don't even have an assist lineup. But anyways, what I was going to say is, most of the time, sportsbooks have the exact same line and very similar odds, right? There's no value in the market. So we're looking for those few spots that actually have value, that actually have an edge. So again, only 2 data points on all these esports plays, so we'll skip them over. Here's another play on Jaden McDaniels, but again, the picks are in the same game, so not much I can do there. But here, we have some esports line discrepancies. Broken Blade over 3. So let's take a look at this. So again, I always say this, but I don't really give a shit what I'm betting on. If there's an edge, there's an edge, right? And I just want to find profitable bets. I want to find value in the market. So if you look at this player, Broken Blade, where is this? So let's go here. And let me reload this. League of Legends. And let's take a look. So you can see ParlayPlay has his line at 3, right? 3 kills in the first map. Underdog 3.5, Hot Streak 3.5 with the over favored. Not only do they have his line higher at 3.5, but they have the over favored or juiced -161. PrizePicks has the line at 3. So again, like on ParlayPlay, we take his over or under. We get the same payout regardless. The other sports books, the other data points, first of all, have his line higher at 3.5, and they have the over favored. So it's like, okay, that seems like a no-brainer, a great play to go with. And then we have another one, another League of Legends value play. But this is first 2 map player kills. So if we go here, 7, 6.5, 6.5, 5.5. So here we go. We got another good play to go with. So now we have, so it does matter on all these platforms, like how many picks are you going with. On ParlayPlay, they only give you a 5x payout for these 3 pick entries. Whereas if you look at like Underdog Fantasy, all these, plays, that we hit today, because we had a pretty good run, these were all 100 to win 600, 6x payout. So on Underdog Fantasy, they give you a pretty good payout for 3 pick entries, 6x, whereas ParlayPlay, it's only 5x. So you don't want to place 3 pick entries on ParlayPlay. The optimal slip type is 7-man non-insured entries, or, it's pretty similar, is 6-man insured. So what we can do is we can go to LaMelo over 37.5 PRAs. So what we can do is you can just kind of take a look at this. So if we look at LaMelo Ball, all the other books have his line at 38.5. It doesn't get much clearer than this. Like a lot of times there's really good bets when sportsbooks first release odds for the upcoming day. So wait, I got to go back here. And we want 6-man insured. So the optimal slip type are 7-pick non-insured entries on ParlayPlay, but 6-pick insured entries are pretty similar. So a lot of times that's just what I play. And then we have Laurie over 34.5 PRAs in the Jazz game. And then we're going to have a nice little 6-pick entry. So we want him over 34.5 PRAs. A lot of line discrepancies for tomorrow. ParlayPlay, they have a max bet size of $60. So we'll go ahead and we'll just kind of lock this in. 6-pick entry for tomorrow on ParlayPlay. And again, we already have 2 on PrizePicks. Here's 5 picks with value. Here's another 5 picks with value. These plays won't last, right? Like the best betting opportunities, the best value, it's not going to last for a long time. So anyways, we can go back here. 2 ParlayPlay, we just locked in a slip. Does Dabble have any value? I typically just bounce around from book to book. Sometimes there's really good value on PrizePicks. Other times it's Underdog Fantasy. So it does look like some plays are now coming up on Underdog Fantasy. So it looks like they're kind of starting to release esports lines, more esports lines at least for tomorrow. So if you take a look here at like Harry, the other sports books, so if you go to PrizePicks, they have his line lower at 2.5, right? So we have multiple data points, multiple other books setting lines. They have his line at 2.5. Okay, value on the under. But it doesn't seem like there's a ton of value, at least not enough value to lock in a full slip. Because all of these plays, there's just one data point. So meh. I don't love playing things when there's only one other data point. Here on PrizePicks, it's kind of the same crap we had previously. Patrick Mahomes over in rushing yards. I mean, there are some other bets on PrizePicks coming up for tomorrow. But regardless, I'll call it a day for now. We got some good plays in. So we got this on PrizePicks, this on PrizePicks, and then this on ParlayPlay. Again, depending on where you're located, there's a ton of good bets on FanDuel. FanDuel, the most profitable sport I bet on FanDuel over the past few years is always soccer. Soccer is my most profitable sport on FanDuel. You can see they barely watch their soccer lines. Like all these other books are constantly moving around their soccer odds. FanDuel, they barely watch their soccer lines. There's a lot of value in soccer, right? Like this play, Bayern Munich over 3.5 team total. FanDuel has it at plus 152. All these other books around like plus 125, plus 130. This is a no-brainer. But again, depending on where you're located, all sports books, it's super annoying, but just due to regulation in the US, all these books are legal in different states. But anyways, we'll call it a day for now. You got down some good plays, and thanks so much for your time.